Jewish worship, it's a practice that's literally thousands of years old. But it's so much more than just reciting ancient prayers. It's a living, breathing tradition that connects people to their faith, their community, and their history. So today, we're going to dive in and really explore what that looks and feels like. All right, so let's get right to it. How do Jews actually worship? Well, the answer isn't just one single thing. It's more like this incredible, rich tapestry, It's woven together from sacred spaces, specific prayers, and a rhythm that really shapes daily life. We're going to pull on each one of those threads to see the whole picture. Okay, first up, an introduction to Jewish worship. Before we get into all the rituals and prayers, we've really got to understand the why behind it all. What's the core purpose here? Let's start with that foundation. At its very heart, Jewish worship is all about connection. Think of it like a bridge. It's a bridge that connects a person to God, for sure, but it also connects them sideways, you could say, to their community, and backwards through time to thousands of years of tradition. It's a really powerful idea. Next, let's talk about the house of worship, the synagogue. This is really the heart of the Jewish community, and we're about to see why it's so much more than just a building. It's like the central hub for Jewish life. The name itself kind of gives it away. Synagogue actually comes from a Greek word that means assembly. So yeah, it's a place for prayer, absolutely. But just as important, it's a place for study, where people discuss and learn from the Torah. And it's a real community gathering spot. So if you walk into a synagogue, a few key things will probably catch your eye. First, there's the Ark, or in Hebrew, the Aron HaKodesh. This is the holiest spot, basically a beautiful cabinet where the sacred Torah scrolls are kept. And the Torah itself? That's the handwritten text of the first 5 books of Moses, which is just central to Jewish belief. Then you'll see the bima. It's a raised platform where the Torah is read and the services are led from, so everyone can see and hear. All right, so we've seen the space. Now let's get into the key components of worship itself. We're talking about the prayers, the texts, and the ritual objects that are used. The main guide for any service is the Siddur. This is the Jewish prayer book, and it's basically the roadmap for the entire service. It lays out the order of all the prayers, for daily worship, for the Sabbath, for festivals. It's this amazing structure that connects Jews everywhere. And right at the heart of the Siddur is probably the most central prayer in all of Judaism, the Shema Yisrael. It means, "Hear, O Israel," and it's the core declaration of Jewish faith, affirming that God is one. This isn't just a prayer, it's the statement of belief, and it's recited in daily prayers. Physical objects are also a big part of worship. You've probably seen a talit, or a prayer shawl. Well, the simple act of putting it on is a ritual. First, you unfold it. Then you say a special blessing for the commandment to wear it. And finally, you drape it over your shoulders. It creates this kind of personal space for prayer and concentration. So, when does worship happen? This leads us to the timings of worship, which has a whole rhythm of its own for the day, the week, and the year. You can see this rhythm most clearly in the cycle of daily prayer. There are 3 set times: Shaharit in the morning, Mincha in the afternoon, and Ma'ariv in the evening. This ancient tradition creates these built-in pauses in your day to just stop, reflect, and connect. Now, there's a really big difference between daily worship and Shabbat or Sabbath worship. Daily prayers can often be brief, sometimes even individual, but Shabbat is all about being communal and celebratory. The services are longer, they include special prayers, and, really importantly, a public Torah reading. It's all done together in the synagogue, making it the spiritual peak of the week. So let's step back for a second. As you can probably tell by now, worship and community life are completely intertwined. It's about so much more than just prayer. In fact, people often talk about the 3 pillars of Jewish life. You have prayer, or tefillah. Then there's study, which is all about the Torah. And finally, community, or kehillah. Worship is just one part of this balanced whole. Each pillar supports the other 2. And you really see how worship is woven into life's biggest moments. Think about it. Welcoming a newborn, a young person's bar or bat mitzvah, celebrating a marriage, or even mourning the loss of a loved one. And of course, all the annual holidays and festivals. The community gathers for worship at every single one of these milestones. There's a quote that I think just says it all perfectly. The synagogue is the sanctuary in miniature, the spiritual home of the Jewish people, binding one generation to the next. It's not just a building, it's a home. It's what connects the past, present, and future. So what's the ultimate goal of all this? It's about taking that sense of holiness, of connection, and bringing it out of the synagogue and into everyday life. It's about building a just and compassionate world. That's the real work. Which leaves us with a final, fascinating question to think about. How does this ancient form of worship balance tradition and modernity? In a world that's always changing, how does a practice thousands of years old stay relevant? I think the fact that it does is a testament to a living, evolving faith. Thanks for joining.